What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be showing you the Blanka deck that we played for this week's Return to Standard Campus Championship. If you like this deck, and you like all the really awesome +2/+2 charge foundation destroying abilities it has, make sure you check out all the other profiles and the matches that this deck played in, as well as catch us live on Twitch. But enough of all that, let's go ahead and jump into the profile. Alright, so if you haven't seen one of my deck profiles before, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be telling you more about how this really awesome Blanka deck wants to work, as opposed to just reading off the cards verbatim inside of it. So, what does Blanka want to do? Well, it's quite simple. Blanka wants to give +2/+2 to every single one of his attacks, and he wants to blow up his own foundations, to grab his momentum, to do really quick effects. Momentum is a very, very valuable resource, and so if Blanka can snap a momentum from an attack that either you blocked, or hell, even an attack that did damage, it's going to be worth it to utilize his effects faster. And so he destroys committed, used foundations in order to get the most out of everything that he's doing. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the profile with our attacks. The very first attack that we're going to be playing is for Casa de Leviathan, arguably one of the strongest ultra rares inside of the Libra of Souls set. It discards momentum, perfect for Blanka. It is a charge, and honestly, it's a 7 high for 5, which means it's a 9 high for 7 in Blanka. Absolutely nutty attack. I call it the 5 damage fatality, because like there's just no chance they're going to be blocking it, or if they do, they're wasting a ton of resources. They're using so many resources in order to make sure that this thing doesn't deal damage. What a valuable tool inside of this character, especially whenever we just load up on momentum with Blanka's ability, his once per turn. If we use that over the course of a couple of turns, we just bop with a. We just bop with a Casa. Up next, we've got 4 Electric Thunder. This card's fantastic inside of this deck. It is a reversal inside of Blanka, and there are cards in the deck to make our reversals bigger and scarier. There was all the time during the Campus Championship, I saw this attack being slung for like an 8 mid for 8, 9 mid for 9, getting damage off of Blanka, getting damage off of other cards, and then if it's not blocked, your opponent destroys a foundation. Not to mention, inside of Blanka, this is a block auto reversal like Skull Barrier or a Dead Elemento. Yeah, the card's fantastic. Up next, we've got Double from Hell. This is another one of those finisher cards, but I put it in this category just because it destroys foundations. If this card's not blocked, which in Blanka, 9 times out of 10, it's a 5 high for 8. If it's not blocked, you get to blow up one of your opponent's foundations and then deal them damage equal to the printed control, the bottom number of the foundation. So this card can be upwards to like 13 damage if your opponent has a 6 diff or 6 control check in their staging area. Up next, we're playing Triple Explosive Charge. This card's one of the cool cards from the Bakugo kit, and it says if the next card you attempt to play this turn is a low, that you get to selectively blow up one of your opponent's foundations. What a crazy strong card, especially on a very generic 4 diff, 4 mid for 4. So in block, it's a 6 mid for 6, and so it has a pretty heavy punch, and then not only that, it's got solid board control. And the low attack that we're playing is the best low attack that Blanka has. It is for rolling attack. This card, whenever you play it here, you blow up a foundation, but then you guarantee make your +2/+2 happen. So Blanka works off of your opponent discarding the top 2 cards, whereas rolling attack says that you guarantee you make sure that you discard the top 2 cards. Not to mention stun 1, it is a low attack. It's got this gnarly 0 low block for like no reason. What a crazy powerful common inside of the Street Fighter set. And then my last card, we are proxying it because we forgot them at the dorms, but we are playing for Geo de Rey, and you can see it up on the screen. It's got Breaker, it's got Stun, it's got Charge. It can respond and grab a momentum. It can, or your opponent can discard a card, and if you have more momentum than your opponent destroys a foundation. And because of how Blanka works, 9 times out of 10, we are going to have more momentum, at least on this on a very early turn. We can easily lead like a rolling attack into a Geo de Rey, and then on my turn, if I went first on my second playable turn, add the rolling attack before they've played an attack, and then destroy one of their foundations. Really, really strong ability that just punishes my opponent for me just playing the game correctly. Onto our assets. we are playing our actions. We're playing 3 of the Tagora brothers. This card just says, after my opponent plays an ability in their staging area, I'm going to destroy it. It is selective destruction, and then I can either draw a card or I can remove from the game in order to keep playing out big combo strings. This card's very, very strong, especially with the rest of the kit that we're doing. This deck's, though the attacks are 1 and destroy cards, we have our actions destroying cards, and our foundations are also destroying cards. Up next, we're playing Triple Prepare to Fight. This card's very undervalued right now, I think, just because there aren't a ton of crazy multiples that are happening. There are some multiples you really got to look out for, but because of how Prepare to Fight works, the main thing that we actually do in this deck is we use the Enhance in order to stuff a card up into their card pool, which is essentially they debuild 1. It's got the same potency as the Tagora brothers, where they get to destroy one of their, as Gio Ray, where they get to destroy one of their foundations by stuffing up in their card pool, and then now you have the ability to combo out for the rest of the turn, where they have +1 progressive on other blocks. Under our assets, we're playing 1 Swordfish 2. This just says nuke and attack. After my opponent plays something, I can add this card to my momentum, which I very much want to do, and they add theirs to their momentum. There's not a lot of stuff that can stop this. There's plenty of things that can stop destruction or sealing or whatever, but adding things to my opponent's momentum, adding things to my momentum is actually really hard to do. And the last action we're playing is 1 Nirvana. This card just says that I can ready foundations, which Blanka wants to have committed ones, but sometimes they don't always want to be committed. And it's also a bit of defense or disruption when it comes to my opponent playing an ability. 9 times out of 10, I want to play at least 2 attacks in a turn in order to get my Enhance off, because I want to add... I don't want to abort one of my attacks. I want to take and... have 1 that's in my card pool, and if they break or 3 me, even if they break or 1 me, that could be the difference between me being able to successfully or safely play that second attack. And so Nirvana really helps with that. On to our foundations. The best foundation, honestly, in this deck is for Ridding the World of Outsiders, just because it has its own commit cost. So you commit it for your next attack to get +2/+2. You flip it, and then with Blanka, you destroy the committed foundation in order to get your benefit off your character. This is the main way that we are getting our attacks up to +8 or 8 mid or 7 mid for 8s on that reversal attack, which is like 7 mid for 8. They destroy one of their foundations, and all you did was commit and flip a card. Just absolutely gnarly stuff. We're playing double Blood for Blood as our last aggressive foundation. This card just says if you block, you're going to be burning extra. It's guaranteed damage, but you do have to pay a small vitality cost of lose 2 vitality. But as soon as you get above them in life total, this burn 2 cost is not that big of a deal. The more that you are ahead, the better off you are for Blood for Blood. Foundation-wise, we're playing triple Over the Top. This card says that when it's in the card pool, it doesn't count as progressive. And the main reason this card is in here, 1, is if it is committed, it doesn't really have an effect to punish you. But it does, when it gets added up to the card pool with Prepare to Fight, it doesn't count. And so you haven't lost anything progressive-wise. Sure, you lost probably a committed foundation, but you've added up one of their foundations, and then you can continue on your attack string. Up next, we've got double Carrying the Weight. After you use Blanka's once per turn, you commit flip and then add it in. And then you can take and, if you want to, destroy this in order to add it in on the next one. You've already got it committed. Already got it, so on and so forth. It's just a very, very good ability inside of a character that just wants to snap momentum as quick as he can. Up next, we've got triple New Empress of Netherrealm. Pay 3 vitality, draw a card. Fantastic when I'm looking for a little bit more gas, maybe a little more defense, and I'd rather pay 3 than take 8 from a big scary attack. In the same vein, we're playing 4 Voice of Reason. I need to make sure that I can find a kill turn when I need it. So on my kill turn, I can discard these bad gray cards and hopefully draw into orange ones, or in a bit of a desperate spot, I can discard a non-block and pull up a block that matters. The big thing here is it is a spam. It's a 0 difficulty card. And we need those in order to play out our big strings. If you notice a lot of our attacks, we have to play 2 of them in a row. And if the only 2 cards that we have are like a double Casa, I need to have as many foundations as possible in my staging area. And having spams very much helps with that. Onto some defense. We're playing 4 Conquest of Terror. It's just flip -2 speed. Nothing fancy about it. Just a good old generic solid low block, good spam like I mentioned before, but it does have this awesome ability of if they're at desperation, I can use it in a slightly different way. So it's just got like a good way to use the card. Up next, we're playing double Guardian of the Spirit Sword. Once again, blocking is super important, especially whenever I want to make that big, huge block reversal play. And so giving their attack -2, -3 damage is very important. Not to mention on your turn, if you want to flip, discard a card, add Swordfish 2 up to your hand, Swordfish 2 is way better than blocking a card because you just don't have to waste any resources and possibly fail their kill card. Up next, we've got triple Telekinetic Mastery. This is just like generic pump hate. If they were to increase speed or damage, you can decrease speed or damage by essentially committing a foundation by checking a 6. Most of our cards are check a 5, and so you commit a foundation, and then that triggers Blanka to destroy your committed foundation, and then so on and so forth. There's just a ton that you can do when it comes to making sure that your opponent's plan doesn't work out just because of how you having even a singular Telekinetic Mastery on board. You should definitely play with this card. You should definitely check it out. Onto a bit of disruption. We're playing Triples Keiko's Aid. After you block an attack, you say the next one gets a little bit harder. It means that we're going to go back to our turn a little sooner, and then we get to actually have fun on our turn. We're no longer playing on defense. We're playing more on offense. Keiko's Aid is fantastic. What a great tool. We're playing double Hunt for Spiders and Dragons. This card can be used for burn, but I actually see it more useful as I played in my card pool, play an attack, and then flip one of their cool foundations. This card is very, very strong. Excuse me, this card is very, very strong for getting rid of problem cards in my opponent's staging area that I don't even have to bother with Toguro Brothers. Maybe they have a card that sitting there doing a static like a Shokin Prince, right? That's not one of those cards that you can activate and then blow up with Toguro Brothers. Not even to mention its own static that says it can't be destroyed. But this says, hey, I'm going to continue to push through and play my abilities on my terms. It's a very proactive card as opposed to reactive. Up next, Disruption Wave, we've got double Towering Over Rivals. Enhance Destroy. Both players destroy one of their opponent's committed foundations. This on the board just means that my opponent can't like commit the good stuff all willy-nilly whenever it comes to stun. This card's really good at destroying, a really good tech choice for destroying things like True Identity. They commit True Identity on their first attack. It's the only committed card that they have. They pass their check. You just Towering Over Rivals. They no longer get to use it next turn if you can survive this one. Just a really, really good meta piece. Something people are overlooking if they're afraid of getting blown out by too many turns with True Identity. Up next, we've got double Securing His Destiny. After they play an ability, a non-keyword ability on an attack, we cancel it. Did you want to increase speed or damage on your missile launcher? Do you increase the damage on your Nutcracker? Want to build a foundation in with a Meteor Style? No, I don't think so. I think this card is a little undervalued, but it's really hard to find room for a 2/4 non-block. And so if you have that room inside of your deck, I highly suggest you playing it. Up next, we've got one Celestial Being. This card is just stun hate. If they stun 5 you with a Coffee Samba, you can just flip this bad boy and just say it didn't happen. But even better yet, the main attack that we want to play is a reversal with the I believe it's Electric Charge, Thunder Charge. It's Blanka's reversal. Anywho, we can discard 2 momentum, which Blanka's fantastic at getting, and give it another +3/+3. Excuse me. Up next, we've got the Dark Side of Karma. Flip from putting speed back to printed to make sure that we can block stuff, but even more importantly, if my opponent plays an ability on a non-weapon, non-character card, I can remove this card from the game playable while committed. Super important. And stop that thing from happening. Once again, all the aforementioned abilities on Nutcracker or Missile Launcher, I can just remove this card and say, hey, I just don't want to deal with it. And the last card that we're playing is Triple Wishing Ward. This card's just momentum hate. It says that if they were to grab momentum, I don't want that to happen. I know how strong momentum is because of how my character wants to generate as quickly as I can. So as for a simple flip, discard the top 2 cards. All right, so there you go. There's James's Blanka deck that he played for this week's Campus Championship return to standard, or back to standard, I think. If you like the deck, make sure that you check out all the other profiles here on the channel. Let James know what you thought about his deck in the comments down below. If you want to have a big conversation with him and you want to support us, please go out to Patreon, patreon.com/TCGUniversity. Sub out there, you get access to podcasts early, get to see it live, get to interact with us, and most importantly, you help the channel grow, you help the channel survive. So, from all of us here at TCGU, thank you very much for watching this video, and stay learned.